remember, we cannot speak about COVID.
Greetings, YouTube friends, subscribers, colleagues, scientists, like-minded, workers on the greater endeavor for the greater good of humanity and more. We're going to do a little bit of a different live stream today. I got a couple of colleagues, friends out there in the field. I've got Henning Kemner. You guys know who his channel is. You can subscribe to that. You can find that in my community feed. And then I've got Adam. He's also out there. He's got his own channel. We can post that information in there too, or he can pop that in there himself. He's a mod. So we're going to go ahead and start. And I'll let Henning introduce himself and Adam introduce himself, and then we'll start rolling with what's going on with things in the related areas and in some of Henning's travels. So, Henning, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Oh, that would be me. Well, I am the infamous The Countdown from YouTube, which is no longer on YouTube. I've had, I think, 7 channels now because YouTube keeps shutting me down for speaking the truth. Because the truth is a naughty word today. So I am back to square one. Profession, I am a professional driver. I drive for a Fortune 500 truck company, and it's a real good job I have. I drive intermodal, and I make some decent money on it, I will say. Somewhere around $1,000 a week. I'm not complaining. But it also costs time at home. But my main subject is on YouTube. That is always to present the truth in the face of people, because wherever you go, seeking information, you're being fed is downright lies, misinformation, disinformation at all times. It's simply just endless what we are being subjected to. So that started in 2010. My wife told me we're living in the end days. Well, I'm a Christian, so you know that already. I'm not going to Bible thump. Don't worry about that. But I started out with the Gulf oil spill and became the big hotshot for a good time, some 6 months. Also, YouTube has had enough of me presenting the facts of what happened in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. It was a false flag event, and I have the evidence on it. And from that moment on, they periscope on me, and as soon as they can, they will lash out on me and give me a strike or downright get rid of me. That's how they operate with me now. So, well, I just have to be careful with what I say, but, you know, rabbit and cotton and wolf, and hopefully some of the monkeys out there, they fall off the branch and figure out what I'm talking about. So, enough of that. Well, I'm 53 years old, so I've been around. I know a lot of stuff that the younglings don't know about. So I can speak to things here and there. So I'll hand it over to Adam.
All right, guys. Well, this is Adam here. I'm 37 from Oklahoma. I farm and do handyman stuff out at the ranch. So I'm always outside, and I'm always hot, and I'm always complaining about how hard it is to grow food or sell it. But for some reason this year it's not very hard to sell because everybody needs it. It seems like so.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a channel, but like he was covering here, you're not allowed to speak the truth anymore. And I thank my lucky stars every day that I was able, ever since I was about 24, 25, and I'm 36 now, that I've been on a truth just like a vacuum, just sucking up as much as I can, because I think a part of me knew it was going to be gone eventually. And I'm just lucky to have met these two gentlemen and that know more than I did. And it's like we share our knowledge and share a passion of the truth and just try to get to the bottom of what's going on, man. So it's been a journey, and I don't know, let's see where we get today, guys.
Okay, well, let's kind of start with some of the...
How about you, John?
I'm sorry?
Let's hear about who you are.
Well, I think everybody pretty much knows what's going on with me. I'm basically just an energy scientist, and I mostly practice in the art of electrical stuff and plasma generation and technology for humanity. So, however, I'm kind of like blacklisted. So I've taken a sabbatical from doing that stuff for a while. Now I'm focusing on data observation. We'll just call it that. And but I am still working in the background on things with certain people and trying to help promote to get certain things out. Just to change the technology sector a little bit, but mostly I'm trying to get in touch with political figures, which is a task in itself. It's just mission impossible. And, that is a full show, if not millions of full shows in itself, in its own. But yeah, with that said, let's go on with, let's see, what's today? Today is Wednesday, July the 6th. So today's hot topic that I started blowing the internet up with first thing today, because it was the first thing that I'd seen that came in on my feed early this morning is that somebody wiped out the Georgia Guidestones, and I was like, well, since those things have been up, like I've always asked the question, well, how come somebody hasn't wiped those things out, or how come the president has allowed those things to stay standing and be in existence today when it's a clear threat, a terroristic threat to somebody? It's a threat to humanity. It's kind of like saying that, within like 10 years, we got to wipe somebody out, and if they're in existence, they need to not be in existence anymore. So it's like a public threat, kind of. And now,
Well, we already got a guy who's doing that.
Right. So it's like, who actually erected the stone, who put it out there, and how come they haven't been charged with anything, or why are they allowing that to be out there? Is the whole thing just to test the whole freedom of speech concept? I mean, what is it all about? But I mean, the bottom line is it's a threat, and somebody actually, in these times that we're in today, took the initiative and went out and wiped it out. And so I was like, I put the information out there that bravo to the team that went out there and actually had the cojones to do that, because I think they've been trying to do that for a long time, and they've been unsuccessful. But this time somebody got in there and actually did it. So whoever did it was able to get them hands on something skillfully. It might have even been military, but they pulled it off and they did it. But what are you guys' thoughts on that, Henning?
Go ahead.
Well, first when I saw the community post, Jon sent me the picture of it, I was just like giggling. Hey, yay, that was about time. I talked to my sweetheart, that means my wife, here not too long ago, and she said she heard it was because of an earthquake. So I went on USGS immediately and to look at see if there was any earthquakes in Georgia, and that's absolutely zero. There's a few over in California, and the rest is spread around the world. So there's nothing going on in Georgia at all. So I truly believe someone. I just Googled them, who is the Bravo team, and it turns out that is a SEAL team in the U.S. military. They probably have had enough of this communism and this, I would say, a threat to humanity written in stone, right? Like in the old days. So, it's about time someone dealt with that. And we need to remember one thing. On the Georgia Guidestones, on the placard in front of it, it says it's made by donated by the New World Order Commission. It don't say who made it, but it's donated by them. So who are the New World Order Commission? Well, that's pretty easy. That is the Bilderbergers. That is the Trilateral Commission. That is, it's UN. It is the World Economic Forum. These kind of people that is behind that kind of expressions. And unfortunately, in some cases, I mean, it is a free country so far, America. We do have First Amendment, freedom of speech. So in principle, they can be allowed to do that without consequences. But still, it's been standing there for so many years as a thorn or actually keying down our neck with what their intent is. And finally, someone took care of that, and I'm happy about it, to be honest.
Now, me personally, I look at it from his point of view, but I also look at it from another point of view as maybe a false flag aspect of this, that maybe this is a keynote to start off some sort of revolutionary tactics, or get some people amped up to do something. And it's my personal opinion, if we make a first move on anything, dude, we're not in the right and we're gonna lose. Right? Yeah. And I think we've got to hold strong, we've got to pull together, we've got to help each other, and I think this is a sign, right? As long as we just stay together and just help each other out, we're going to watch them crumble, right? Yeah. I think this is what this means to me. And
can I add something to that?
100%.
We have seen around the world that these stainless steel monoliths showing up here and there. I don't know if you remember that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And someone decoded that as a kind of a signal. So I can actually follow what you say, Alan, that it could be an inside job, and that destruction of that pillar was the final monolith, because those pillars are monoliths. Yes. And that might be just what this means. That is, when that stone breaks, then we begin. Yeah, that's the signal to the whole world.
Right. It's a message. Once that breaks, it starts.
Exactly. And as we see now, all the fuel is being distributed to Ukraine. That's going to be a logistic problem for America. Truck traffic, people going to work, meaning they will have to bicycle to work or walk to work. Good luck with that. In the middle of summer. So, and the food scarcity we are going to see now, and now with the AB-5 new law in California, that now effectively this week is putting 70,000, not 17, but 70,000 independent truck drivers out of business.
Yeah,
because the law says that if you are an independent contractor, you cannot any longer in California be leased to a company. So they will have to find the loads themselves, meaning they're actually without a job, per se, this week. And I am pretty sure now that all the logistics is pretty much coming from California, that is going to send a ripple effect down through the entire country. It's going to be not good.
I really don't think we've started to see anything yet. There's some things missing, but what you're saying right now is 100% true. I'm not a trucker, but I follow them religiously. And that's 100% true. And right now here in Oklahoma, we're not seeing completely empty shelves, but there are things missing. There are certain stores that don't have things, but for the most part, there's still fruit on the stands. And it's not like that. I'm hearing over on the East Coast that they got real shortages of things. We're Tractor Supply here, it's an industrial store for farming and agriculture, or you get feed or all kinds of stuff in there. Lawn equipment. They're just stacking the shelves and the aisles full of the same stuff. They just have rows like paper towels or like rows of chairs or like just crap, like four entire full aislefuls of pans, just stuff that nobody needs.
Yeah, we already got pants. Yeah, I got pants on. Well, another thing too you said there, Adam, that's something I have been, in all the time I have been on YouTube, I have advocated for, and I still stand on that. And to everybody listening to my voice and have some kind of thoughts in their brains of locking out and stuff like that, hold your horses. Do not, I repeat, do not go out and do anything stupid. That would give them the incentive, or what is it called, the incentive to come down on us like an angry hornet's nest.
That's what they're looking for.
Well, this is exactly what they're looking for. You can only do any form of aggression if it's self-defense. Protecting your family, protecting yourself, protecting your community. Anything else, that is off the table. Period. You do not engage in any aggression against anyone unless someone comes against you. That is an order.
That's funny you're saying that, because I told my father the exact same thing like 2 days ago. Exact same thing. I said, look, this whole thing with CERN and them collecting dark matter and them doing things and opening the dimensions to portals that we don't know about. Studies have been had on dark matter, and they kept some at the Texas University, and they noted that the crime rate, rape rate, and everything else went up by over 40%. So it is known that dark matter has very mysterious and unique effects on humans, and with them firing up CERN and the two Hadron Colliders, we don't know what's going to happen, and I don't think it could have been said any better. You need to watch your own back. You need to watch your attitude. You need to watch how you treat people. It is way more valid to retreat and just get back to your home right now, because the cops aren't fair. Court isn't fair. They have all of his track locked and everything else. So like they know who they want to go after, right? And you're telling me that an AI computer can't take all of your data and predict where you're going to be, where you're going to sleep, and what you're going to eat the next day. You're all full of it, and you have no idea where you're living. So be careful.
Exactly. And regarding with the police force, first, you were talking about the antimatter. Well, here's the bombshell that I found out during the Gulf oil spill period. That is, there were two objectives to that oil spill. One was to destabilize the New Madrid phone line,
Right.
and the other one, black goo. Black goo is an... John, you know what black goo is. You're the expert on that, I'm pretty sure.
Right, that's a more advanced material that got discussed that had to do with certain types of secret projects. But as far as like how that plays a
Black
role
goo is intelligent. It has intelligence.
Right.
That's the problem with that stuff. That is, and it's malicious. It's not benevolent. And it's off. It don't belong on planet Earth. How it got here, I don't know, but it don't belong here. It's not part of the periodic table. It deviates from everything that is known to mankind. So yeah, that's some mysterious stuff. And you talking about the antimatter, the dark matter?
Yes.
And if those two things are combined in some form or fashion, I can imagine that they can unleash that on a million inhabitant city such as Dallas, and Dallas just go at each other.
I think that's the plan, is either through frequency or something of that note. I mean, there's so many studies and realistic things that have happened that they can control brainwaves, and they can manipulate hertz and functions of how you feel and act. I really think that, with the Georgia Guidestones today, this breaking, I think that this is where they plan to turn us on each other, and the ones, like I like to say there's a good you and a bad you, and without getting super religious, if you don't have full control of the good you and a good connection and a good vibration, just to sum this up and make it easy for everybody to understand, you will be dragged down and you will be used as a tool because you don't know the difference between the good you and the bad you. You're just a sheep. You're just out there running around trying to get your food and trying to get, step over everybody to get your spot. So, like, you will be used. If you want to be used, you will be used. If you're not smart in these last days, I'm sorry, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, can I interject really quick?
Yeah.
So, like, when you guys are talking about that, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is, and we'll just keep the words in this fashion, is the Charlie 19 situation and everything they've been finding on it. So there's there's a lot of things that tie into the mechanics of 5G and that, but
And the Jabbo.
yeah, well, I just call it like Charlie 19.
Okay, we'll do that.
So, they've already demonstrated through science and technology, and they have all of the dissertations and the white papers and the peer reviews. Like, they have all of this information out there. Anybody can go and read it. It's a matter of whether somebody wants to go and read it or not. But this is not just simply regurgitated stuff or parroted stuff. This is stuff anybody can go out there and read if they have the time and the willpower to go out there and research it. But there is a correlation between the magnetic phenomenon and the 5G. And I've posted a lot of this data in the past, like on my community tab, that shows that through that they can start controlling things. And that's all received through the Charlie 19, let's say, delivery system. So whether or not it will be something that is enacted in the near future, we don't know. But one thing that is far beyond anything that we've ever seen is that they have pushed for it like nothing else they've ever pushed for in humanity's lifetime that we've ever seen in this digital age that we're living in. So, I mean, there is like a slight piece of reality that could stem from that, but I don't think it's something that we've seen a full-on payload delivery for, and something to actually, like a switch to be turned on and for us to actually see it.
We haven't seen the end of what Charlie 19 is. We have not seen the end of it. We haven't seen the beginning. It hasn't started yet. Now I don't want to get too far out there, but I have seen evidence of nanotube-like structures being pulled out of people that are already deceased, right? And they're lined with certain elements that you can't just go get in nature or put into your body. They are put together, then put into your body, and then being found.
They're self-assembling.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have pictures of that. I can't publicly show them because of, so that's a little shame, but I have pictures of these objects, and it is pretty scary.
Right, so I mean, with that said, there's no question that the evidence is not there, so now, we could definitely talk about that all day, but here's the facts. The facts is that on my community tab, all of the legal ramifications of this stuff actually coming out into the public's view is actually been demonstrated and shown in the courts. People have been convicted of this stuff, and they've brought all of this out to the forefront. And there are government, factions that are coming out, and they're pursuing actions on a lot of this information. But the real thing about it all is how long is it going to take, and then how much more destruction is going to come from it before the item gets resolved. And Really, it just goes all the way back to the times of Germany when they enacted the Nuremberg Code. So, um, for a while, like when this was happening, I used to try to promote the reenactment of the Nuremberg Code because supposedly somebody's supposed to still be watching over that system and doing something about it and never letting that happen again. But clearly, that is not the case. It's unfurling itself in America and all over the world, but we can see that everybody's stepping up to the plate and trying to do everything they can to push back against this nonsense.
Well, I think that the battle station is fully operational, and I think that the legal attempts against this is going to be futile, because I think before they even get to that point, I think this world has already been thrusted into World War III, full-blown war. And then nobody will think about these legal terms, and they won't think about this, and they don't want to think about that. All they think about is taking cover and survive.
I agree with that. That's a good way to get people to not come together, is just scare the absolute pants off them. And
Exactly.
the guy that always wins is the guy that has the food. So everybody needs to be smart. Find you a farmer close to you. Find you production lines that you can start even close to you. Like, learn how to trade. Learn how to like put some stuff back. You're gonna need it.
Can I say two things to you, Adam? You were talking about with not going out and do something dumb.
Yes.
You said the police is not good. Well, they are, but now they are being stigmated, or whatever you call it. They put a stamp on them that police is bad and everybody hates the police, and they want to defund the police, get rid of them, and police officers are being murdered, downright murdered by thugs. So now the police is on edge. They are now seeing everyone, no matter who it is, even a teenager, they see them as a potential threat to themselves because of the situation, the mood that has been set in the people's minds. And then I want to say something about this, and I'm going to microphone for a second here. Sorry about that. But regarding not doing anything, wait. You said, Adam, about there's good and bad in people, and you have to choose. Well, I have here in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 14, it says, let all that you do be done with love. Start there. Start there, people. Don't do it out of self-serving means. Never do anything self-serving, because if you do that, you end up in a body bag. It's game over for you. That's not going to be tolerated.
Hey, so one second, Henning. So we have a subscriber that is asking, I think it's Bradley Moore, and he's asking if that's Henning. So this is a response to Bradley. Yes, that's Henning Kemner, Bradley.
Yeah, it's me. Hi, Bradley.
Yeah, and since you want to, I'm not far off from Bible thumping myself, but in Scripture it does say in the end days that they will be messing with time.
Yeah,
straight up, and that we all know. We've already been down this road, and we could talk about CERN for hours, but I think people just need to be more perceptive to what's really going on out there. I know a lot of people are concerned with their families and their well-being and their money and their food, but you're not going to have any understanding of where to run or where to go or what to do if you don't understand the game that you're involved in, right?
So
the game is deception.
So one of my subs is I think he's in Australia, and he says is Mescal. He says we need to use our words and dreams for good. Words have power. We're all making the big mistake of talking about their nasty plans, and B, that we add to their evil prayers, make good prayers.
Yeah, we need to be we need to put our focus ourselves and our communities, not so much the enemies, because we know the enemy is there. We already identified who the enemy is, and we know what the enemy looks like when they are coming to your doorstep. So that is already said in black and white who they are.
Yeah,
So meanwhile,
who these people are, you're 100% right. It's not like we don't know. We know who all these people are.
yeah, exactly. It's therefore put your focus on your family and your communities. Get together. And then you can prepare, because everybody pretty much today can feel something ain't right. And their spirit to them is saying to them, watch out, watch your six.
Right.
They know that something is wrong. You remember in 2020, when something weird happened in America and around the world, firearm sales in the United States of America went up 275%. Do you think that was something telling people, it's time, you need to be prepared, they're coming? They're coming now.
I think so. I think a lot of people are starting to want to be awake, but they don't know where to go. They've kind of designed this really, unless somebody personally knows an individual like us three that knows a thing or two, it's real hard to start right now from ground zero almost and go through and find all this information. They've done this on purpose. So when these people wake up, they don't have anywhere to go or turn their frustrations to, right? They don't know who to blame or who to even go and like look at, unless they run into somebody like us. And it's just, and to be at this almost the start of the forefront of all this information and gathering, right? It's sad to see where we're at right now, but that more than anything alarms the absolute crap out of me, is like how deceptive and just the lies and the propaganda they're pushing right in our face. It's like every day, man. Every day.
Well, I just listened to it, and I know that half of it, or maybe even 90% of it, is nothing but lies. Right. And I have it like this, and this is fact. If someone lies to you, and you find out that something in their story contains a lie, everything else that has been said, even if it's true, you have to disregard it. You have to observe everything that you've been told is a lie. Because you cannot stand there and use discernment whether your neighbor is telling you the truth or not. You have to consider it as a lie to protect yourself. Do not fall for their stories, because they got lots of stories.
So let's bring up another topic here really quick on Putin coming out and declaring World War III, and then we kind of see like how everything's gone silent, and we know that all the gas and that stuff has been cut down, and now like the prices have gone insane. But Henning, like you're on the road and you're like traveling through a lot of these states, cities, and countries. Like, what are you actually seeing right now on the road?
I don't really see anything. There was a time I saw a lot of trains passing my house with tanks and Humvees and what do they call them? Infirmary vehicles. And I've only seen a few flatbed trucks with army painted generators, but not really a lot of equipment. And that kind of tells me that America is probably just not going to do a damn thing. Maybe all that stuff I've seen been shipped around, maybe that is already shipped to Europe, ready for the offensive. I don't know.
Yeah, well, what have you been seeing as far as like like when you're going to the gas stations and trying to fill up, like have you been seeing like a higher gas gouging, like price gouging? Have you seen like long lines?
Right now here in Texas, the average gallon of diesel is $5.39. But what I have noticed on the truck stops, that is, the pressure in the pumps are low. And that gives me a telltale sign that the tanks in the ground, they are not replenished. Because I can sit for 20 minutes and put 50 gallons of fuel in, and that will normally take me less than 10 minutes.
Right. So what you're seeing is you're seeing a slow release versus a normal pumping pressure, right?
Yeah, the flow has stalled, and that tells me there is not enough fuel in the tanks in the ground anymore, meaning they're not being replenished in the speed that would normally be done. Because when I fill my truck up, I take 140 gallons out, meaning if it's empty.
So if you had to say over the last couple of days versus couple of weeks, have you been seeing consistency with that?
Yeah. That is consistency, and it costs a lot of time of my workday. And I am on a busy schedule, even though my company says we're not in a hurry, but I am in a hurry because I want to move as many loads as possible because I work for America. I work for you. So I have to go and chip in and do whatever I can to make sure that you get your stuff on your shelves. And the sad part of it is, none of us get any respect for what we're doing out here. Yeah, I know, man. It's sad. Like, America doesn't run without you guys. We would have no America. No. I mean, 80% of all freight is done by a semi-truck. And think about it, when people look at each other on the road, oh, you're driving that car, that's a nice car. But think about it, dude. The truck driver brought all the parts for that vehicle you're sitting and drooling over. Give me some respect. Yeah, or the car itself, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Everything that is on the car, that the car is made up of, is brought by a semi-truck to the plant that manufactured the vehicle. Period. They don't have a steel processing mill. They don't have electronics department and stuff like that. They don't have that. We deliver finished products that is ready to be installed in those vehicles. That's just an example. And also another thing, America runs on Dunkin', right? Yeah. I bring the coffee for you. Think about that. And I bring laundry detergent for your dirty laundry, California. But I go to Louisiana once in a while in Pineville, and they make Tide Pods, and those loads always go to California. I always say, well, that's for that dirty laundry.
Tide Pods. Yeah, so...
38.
All right, so...
I'd like to know from both of you, do you guys think, just like a real quick sum of it real quick, just a yes or no, do you guys think America will go to war with Russia? Yeah.
Yeah, so just reflecting back on what I was saying earlier is, here's the thing, right? So I did a broadcast earlier, and in that broadcast I was talking about this same stuff, right? So Putin himself, he came out and he announced to everybody all over the world, he even announced it to America, he said, we're officially at World War III. And he declared that the reason we're officially at World War III is because now, he's identified that America has put things in his country, and two, now they have transferred NATO troops into the Ukraine. And so now they're ready to hands down just have full-out war. Now, I want to say something about that really quick because this is something that nobody talks about, and that's the semantics of what we're up against and what we're dealing with here. And when I say that, it's like this. We're dealing with a new technology, more advanced weapons, bombs, explosives, like the whole 9 yards, right? So here's the thing. So in previous broadcasts, I always said, nobody's going to checkmate Putin, especially in Ukraine, because he's taken over the Chernobyl reactor site. And that's if anybody bombs that or damages that, well, that's it for the world, because the Earth is going to bleed radiation. I mean, they already showed the mathematical statistics on it. They pretty much showed what's going to happen. if it continues to bleed out in the upper atmosphere and the stratosphere, and it spreads around the world. Now, that's just that one reactor site. But now, with that said, going back to what you were asking, if we're going to have a full-on war, here's what we're going to see, Adam. When they're talking about these new bombs, they're not going to use nuclear stuff. And the reason they're not going to do nuclear is because of the amount of time and fallout that's going to happen worldwide just from using the nuclear stuff. But what they would use is more high-yield, more dangerous explosives that can still travel large distances and do lots of destructive damage over thousands of miles. Now, what does that actually mean? What it means is that when any one country, even if it's NATO, okay, here's a real huge dose of reality. When any country, even if it's America, puts a large sum of troops down in any one of these higher power, superpower countries, what they will do is they will deploy one of those bombs and it will instantly wipe all of those people out. So let's say that they send every man, woman, and child in the state of Texas to the Ukraine. And that's all life as we know it in Texas. And they go send it over there. Well, they would just be like, well, you're stupid. You put all those people in one spot. They go deploy, one of those new technology bombs, and boom, it just wipes out all of those people. Well, you just lost all your war resources right there in one shot. So is this going to be one of those types of wars where we're going to send like lots and lots of troops somewhere on a massive scale? It's not going to happen because of that fact alone.
That's what I wanted to get at. That was the point I hope one of you two would bring up. Is me personally, if they were to establish a draft, and this goes for my friends as well too, I don't know a single real American that will go over there and fight that war. I'm being one of them. There is no way you can dangle millions of dollars. You can give me $1 billion. I'm not going to go over there and put my boots on the ground for Ukraine. All that is the politicians' sons and daughters over there sitting on energy boards, and it's a big funneling racket up there. That's all that is. The reason they shut down all the gas and kept everything going in Ukraine is so these people that own everything can make the money off the military-industrial complex while everything else falls apart. If they didn't have Ukraine right now, I personally believe these people that run things would be hurting as well. They're using Ukraine as a proxy to keep themselves propped up while all of us suffer and just like falling apart here at home. It's like all this is 100% like they're saying, it's order out of chaos. They've dismantled the United States, starting with oil and the pipelines and everything else, and they just continue to screw it all up. But I'm just saying, my point to this is, I don't know one person, right, that maybe has all their terminology figured out that wants to go fight, right? Is all I'm saying. I don't know who's going to go fight this war. And they're not going to come by and round us up and make us go either, because I'll go out on my knees before you send me over there.
Yeah, I mean, we're just dealing with a different animal altogether.
Well, I have to disagree a little with you, because I know they have a depopulation agenda going, right? I think they're more than willing to send as many people to the war zone as possible so they can snuff out as many as possible that is actually trained and able to actually make a difference.
Right.
So they're sending troops over. NATO is sending troops, right?
It's a suicide mission.
It's a suicide mission, but the troops are not being told that. And it makes the populace here in America and around the world see, oh man, something is being done against that evil Putin. That's not the plan. The World War III is already started. It's just not full-blown yet. It's already ongoing. You see that America is sending large swaths of Texas oil reserves to Ukraine at this moment. And Biden just announced that he is sending weaponry to their HIMARS rocket systems. Are you bloody kidding me? That is being directly involved in the war. It's no longer a proxy war. America, or not America, but President Biden and his commies, they are directly takes me back to World War II. Who was behind the funding and the realization of starting those wars? Rockefeller and Rothschilds. Yep. And they are the players in this. They are still the players.
Right.
That's how I see it.
I also find it funny that we've had 100 food processing plants burned down, but not one of Billy Goats. Yeah, not one of Billy Goats. Cricket factories or fake meat factories says there's not a dang thing. And I'll tell you what, I've been to school to an EMT basic or a fireman, and I was going to go into the fire suppression systems because that's good money. None of these plants are going to be up to code and catch on fire and burn down. There's way too much technology and way too much money in those refineries and factories to keep them from burning down. Somebody's already designed that system, so the system itself would have to have been faulty and not up to code. So none of this makes sense.
Maybe it's been hacked and then the sabotage is.
That's my point. You have to get in there and hack the system or disable it.
Because everything is connected to the internet. And I guarantee you that these people that sit and figure all this stuff out, they know how to get in. They won't take them long. It's a slam dunk. And I mean, I love the internet. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the internet. But you gotta realize one thing. When you look at your cell phone, everything in that cell phone is created, developed, and mass-produced by the military-industrial complex. The internet was invented by the military-industrial complex in order to transfer encrypted information from point to point. Get that through your head. Everything, communication today, has the birthplace in the military-industrial complex, people. So you think you're safe when you talk on your phone? Not at all. Even if it's turned off, they're still listening.
Yeah, so I mean, like, in contrast to like what we're facing with the war, it's like it's well thought out, it's well planned, and like this stuff that they promote in the media about sending in 300,000 troops from NATO into the Ukraine, it's a joke, and I'll tell you why it's a joke. Because think about it. If they send in 300,000 troops, I guarantee you, just like me and anybody else, you're thinking, okay, well, we got satellites up in the sky. We can see where they're being deployed, right? And then they're going to say, okay, well, when they get deployed at this coordinate on the geographical map, then we know which bomb to send at which time, which minute, which hour, and radius squared, how much distance that thing is going to cover to take them out once they hit land. So make no mistake that when they shoot out some like big numbers like that, there's somebody else on the back end that's calculating every single little thing that's happening. And just like when they were running those operations, flying those planes over, doing all the land surveys that the presidency was allowing them to do, that America was doing the same thing with their satellites too, right? Kind of like an equal thing. You look at us, we look at you. But I mean, here's the thing, right? So, as I said in some other videos, it's that psychological game of everybody knows, but they want to pretend that they don't know, but they know. So everybody knows, but they still pretend that they don't know. And that's kind of the bag, that they're tossing around continuously. But the reality is that there is somebody sitting out there that's calculating every move, every inch of something every second. And it's not always a general that's sitting somewhere that's making that calculation. Trust me, it's somebody that's mathematically inclined. It's
a tech geek that is doing that stuff for them. It's a civilian that is working for the military-industrial complex because he has full understanding on what the computer is telling him. Where you and I, John, you will understand more than I do. Because I don't understand ones and zeros in the binary code. I have no idea what it means. I know it puts stuff together, but gee, it's like trying to read the human DNA, right?
Yeah.
It's an art.
Good luck.
Yeah. So,
So I want to say,
I wanted to keep. I wanted to keep this broadcast to an hour, so we got like 10 more minutes. But
I just want to inject something very fast. Not to Bible thump again, but think about it. The human genome, right? We have 46 chromosomes, right, in the DNA. We have in each chromosome about 52,000 genes. And each gene has 4.5 billion puzzle pieces. So people, are you going to tell me that we are not created by intelligent design, by a creator in heaven called God Almighty or Yahweh? Of course it's intelligent design, people. It's not evolution. Are you kidding me? That's not possible. We are the most advanced machine on this planet. Biological machine. Think about it.
well, don't forget that there's still the other strands that still aren't even activated.
Right. There's dormant.
Yeah.
You know. And another thing is like you're saying, man. We're such an advanced machine. People don't look at themselves as a machine because our understanding as a machine is rotating cogs and parts or a nice new Tesla, right? Like
Building robots then, right?
when you get past the breaking point of that old technology to the new, to symbiotic life that you actually create, like that's what we're trying to do. That is what all this is for. CERN, the COVID, the Charlie, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? It all adds up. It's all together, right? They're trying to destroy what God has made. And I just want to say I agree with you, man. Just people, open your eyes and look at yourself.
Yeah. And why are they so intensely trying to build robots that mimic humans? Why is that such an obsession for them? Because they know that the human being is the most advanced machine. Period.
Yeah, so that I'll just interject with you guys right there for a little bit. So I mean, pretty much what it boils down to is this: is that God already engineered everything perfectly in His image, but it's man that wants to come in and modify and enhance something that has already been brought into existence. So if something is failing or getting out of balance, it's because it's somebody has stepped in and brought new variables into the equation and to change the dynamics of everything.
And that's why you're seeing that perversion and the mockery, and everything is being turned up on its head. Everything that is wrong is right, and everything that is right is wrong now. And that's just that's why you're seeing the inversion of everything, like the whole movement. You know what we talk about when a guy's not really a guy? That whole thing, that whole agenda with the kids and everything. That's all Satan's way of inverting what God has made, right? Because he can't create himself. So he's got to take God's creation, and he's got to manipulate it, and he's got to flip it for you so he can make a mockery of what God has made.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to destroy everything God created. Everything. Down to the freaking atom.
And that's what they're doing now with CERN.
Exactly.
I feel like the next month or two is going to be very, very vitally important with CERN and everything. I think we're going to find out. I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, but I feel like in the next 2 months, a lot of things will be brought to light, and we'll be here again talking about some more crazy things.
Well, hey, CERN has just run the highest power ever on that. Ever. Because of their 10-year anniversary for the discovery of Higgs boson particle. So they ran this one, I think it was 6,400 giga electric volt. And that is the highest power that CERN has ever put out. I wonder what that actually did to the realms, meaning the dimensions. What happened? What is,
it can't be good. You can't cause a disturbance, man. Just imagine a nice, like clear pond, right? On a nice cool morning, you throw a rock in there, dude. There are things that you can't perceive, that you can't even see, that are getting affected.
So so let me add something to what you guys are saying, right? So just dealing in energy science, they're dealing with the mechanics of a system that is totally more than just interdimensionally fathomable. And if you want to talk about what they can do with this thing, knowing that it can outproduce the magnetic field of the Earth, basically, what they could do is they could make this Earth. They could make this Earth come out of balance if they wanted to. So if you can imagine a spinning top that's spinning at a certain rate of speed and it's got like a nice balance going, all they would have to do is fire that thing up and pulse or something that would distort that magnetic field, and then they could easily create like a rift or an earthquake or something. And that's only the first thing. The next thing is that if something were to really go on, they could create something like where we're talking about multiple dimensions collapsing on top of themselves, and then you get like something like the
John?
Yeah?
That's called an interference pattern.
Yeah.
So proven.
Yeah, so let me make this point real quick. So once they start collapsing these dimensions on top of each other, then you're going to get something like the equated effect of what happened with the Philadelphia experiment, where they're jumping dimensions, and then you have things like all these bodies being meshed into the metal, and just, you know, some people are on other sides of the ship and they're sticking out of the walls, like just some weird phenomenon where time has been distorted or these dimensions have been distorted. But imagine that on a much larger scale, like where it's land masses or buildings, or it's the CERN facility itself. These are like the types of destructive things.
Well, isn't that what the Marvel movies are showing us?
Well, I mean, while you may see some entertainment in these movies, there's definitely there's definitely some reality in what we're talking about scientifically that, you know, we could be dealing with here. And
absolutely.
And there's people that are seeing things and are experiencing things and actually go insane from this stuff. And it's sad, but you know that is a reality. But the greatest thing of all is that what we have is a situation like back in the days of the Bible, like when you think about the Tower of Babel and how God like shut that down, is that essentially if you think about this CERN facility or any of the CERNs or anybody that's playing with this technology, it's that if they make a miscalculation, mathematically speaking, that it could spell the destruction of the entire world that we all live in. So, just think if the right component fails and they spin off like a massive black hole and then this whole world starts eating itself alive, you just don't know what those things are going to be, but you can sit here and theorize about them based on the scientific facts that you see from the experiments or the feedback that you're getting. But you can see that they're all realities, but on what scale in enormity are they going to be at the cost of a mistake that is made or if a component in that facility fails? It could spell the end of the world.
Yeah, I know. Can I say something?
Sure.
CERN, every time they fire this bloody machine up and they are doing their collision, something comes back to them. There's something in the tube from another dimension. Yeah. CERN has only one function. It is not research. The function is to break down the veil so they can come in.
With the other side, man.
Exactly. Those who are waiting to get in are being let in, and I believe 100% that CERN is the bottomless pit.
Well,
Actually, wait, hold on. I know this. This is true. CERN is actually built on an ancient tomb, and
I know. Napoleon.
you know, all right, guys. Well, we'll have to save it for, this conversation for later. But I'm gonna have
How
to.
about next week?
Yeah. And it can be sooner than that. It's we just gotta find a time and piece some more of this together. But I think this was a good start, and we can come back and do this again.
Yeah, just hit me up, sure, anytime.
Okay, guys. Well, I'll go ahead and close it down from here. And if you guys have anything you want to say to your subscribers out there, go ahead and do it, and then I'll go ahead and close it down.
just say everybody. Everybody loves everybody. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.